Morning, guys. I'm going to be doing some more work on the Excursion. I finally got some spark plugs and some coils to replace in it, so we'll get those done and see what else we can do. It's got previous owners have changed out some coils in it. It looks to me like there's about 5 different brand of coil in here. Just for my sake, I want to put all the same kind of coil in it and make sure the spark plugs are all good. I got new plugs for it, and I already come through and popped all the wires off the coils, so we gotta disconnect the breather pipe and get that out of the way and see how much we gotta move over here to get access back there. But we'll get going on this thing and see how it goes. We got some Walker coils. I don't know much about them, but they came in a 10 pack, so that's what I needed. And some Motorcraft double platinum plugs, OE type, so we'll get those going. Alright, we'll go down through and loosen up all the coils first. And first we went through and blew out all the dirt that was sitting up here on top of the engine. You don't want all that crap to fall down into your cylinders, so we blew that out. Now we'll go down through and take all these spark plug bolts, or the coil bolts, out. Get those out of the way and stick them on the magnet tray. Then we'll see if we can pry these coils out of here. I imagine some of them are going to be pretty stuck. They stick pretty hard to some of the plugs. We'll get this done and I'll show you how rough some of them come out, I guess. That one pulled out pretty nice. That one I believe has been replaced fairly recently. But I want all the same brand in here just for peace of mind. That one came out pretty easy too. That one's got some dirt and crap down in there. We'll have to blow that out before we pull the spark plug out. All that dirt stuck around there. It's gross. These back ones have collected more dirt than the front ones did too. We'll have to run the air hose over them all again. And I'm starting to think that these rear ones haven't ever been changed. I'm not sure though. I don't see any Ford symbols on them anywhere, but the spark plug boots are swelled up out at the ends like they've been on there quite a while, versus one of these first ones doesn't have that bell out near the end. I'll hold two of them side by side so you can see a little better. The top one is flared a little bit at the end, the bottom one's not. Would kind of lead me to think that those back ones haven't been done before, so, but I don't know. Truck's got 220,000 miles on it. Something's been done to it several times, I'm sure. At least I'm hoping. It's in pretty good shape, so I would assume that whoever had it took good care of it. So this one's stuck on the plug. There it goes. That one's real stuck. Come on. That's one of the older ones. That concerns me a little bit. Looks like there might be a little blow-by in that one. And that coil's cracked. Let's see what that one says. That might be a Ford number, I'm not sure. If it is, it's definitely due to be changed. Let's see if we can get these last two buried back in here quite a ways. I don't know if I mentioned this, but this is the 2000 Ford Excursion with the 6.8 V10. That one's got some rust and junk on it too. So, yeah, it looks like it's a good thing that we're changing these anyway. Hopefully we don't run into any spark plug issues having them loosen the cylinders. I know that they were common for that, but that one's really belled out. So we've got multiple different coils in this thing. Multiple different ones. We'll take a look at all these. We've got two of these red ones up here. We'll put them all together, I guess. There's two of these red ones. Precision Auto Labs. There's a couple of these ones. These ones are newer. We'll hang on to some of these newer ones and we'll save them just in case we need them. There's a lot of different, that's an old one. A lot of different coils in here, so it's a good thing we're swapping these all out and getting them all the same. Some more equalized spark out of them, and maybe it'll run a little smoother. Alright, we'll get some air going here and blow these things out again. Curious to see what'll pop out of some of these. Nothing really in that one. A little bit of dust and crap out of that. Not much out of that one. That one's not too bad either. This last one on this side. Got a little bit of stuff in it. Now let's see what we can do on this side. We'll start with the back one, if we can get in there. Not much out of that one. Not much out of that one. A little bit. Most of them looked like they were pretty clean in there, so I'll pull some plugs and see what they look like. Hopefully we don't pull any threads out with them. We'll see what happens. Here's the first one out of the engine. It doesn't look too bad. Get this camera to focus a little bit. It doesn't look too bad. Let's see what brand these were. Auto Lights. Didn't look too bad. Not sure how long they've been in there. We'll get them swapped out with some factory plugs and make them all consistent. You got these Motorcraft ones. We'll have to gap them and check the gap on them and make sure that that's right. Should be a 0.54 gap on them, so I'll go find my gapper and get these plugs gapped and start putting some back in. Alright, I'm going to start dropping some coils back in here as I go. I filled the ends of them with some dielectric grease already yesterday while I was waiting because it was too cold to work on it today. Yesterday rather. So we'll drop some of these back in here as we go. Just so that nothing else for any reason has a chance to fall into any of these spark plug wells. So I'll get these things turned back in. And try to get them started by hand. I don't like to start everything with a screw gun. It does work if you know what you're doing, but if you don't, it turns out in a bad way. That's all started. And we'll finish them off with a ratchet. Don't want to over tighten the coils on here. They don't need to be too tight. Snugged up good is really all they need. Make sure that those things clip on. Not a very audible click on these ones. I felt that one. There. We'll keep going with these and I'll show you if we have a bad one. Nine more of them. There's all kinds of opportunity for something to go wrong. So we'll get going and see what happens. Alright. So I'm down to the last 3 plugs. And if you listen to this, drop this wrench socket down the hole, you can hear it hitting on metal. But I can't make it grab the hex of that spark plug. This one, you can hear it doesn't hit metal. It hits on the rubber inside the spark plug socket, and I can grab that one. This one, and this one, I don't know what somebody's got in here different for plugs, but I haven't figured it out yet. But they don't fit a 5/8 spark plug socket like a typical one. I gotta get this sorted out. And I'll let you know what somebody put in here. I got no idea yet. Well, I finally got one of these plugs out. Figured out why it wasn't coming out right. Well, it's some kind of a spark plug fix thing, something or other. I'm not real fond of these things, so I think I'm going to get some helicoils for it and do it the right way. That way I know it's not going to be a problem, because I'm starting to hear some blow by, I think, on some of these. So I'm thinking this one and maybe the other one that's in there is the problem. So hopefully we can get that straightened out. I don't know if it'll happen today or not, but I'll take a run to town and see what I can come up with. Wish me luck. Alright, a few days later. Rained all day yesterday. I got the tool I needed yesterday, but it was too rainy to be bothering to work on anything, so well, here we are a couple days later now. Anyway, we're gonna see how this tool works. It's got some inserts to it and assortment and a thread chaser for it. I'm going to tap out threads to this size, and then the spark plugs will hold in those threads inside. So it's got these knurlings on it so that you can seat them to the cylinder head. So kit wasn't too bad. I think it's probably the most economical for this situation, so we'll see how this works. Alright guys, so what I've decided to do is go with the dry tap method. I know there's some debate on this, but my thought is that the way grease interacts with Loctite, it's going to affect its curing rate, and I don't really want to have to do this again. So my thought is that I can tap it dry, and whatever falls into the cylinder will either blow out the spark plug hole when I start it here for a few seconds to clean out the cylinder, and either that or it'll go out the exhaust valve. Either way, there shouldn't be anything really left inside the cylinder, so you're definitely going to want to make sure that your piston is in the downward stroke near the bottom when you do this, so that you don't run your tap into the piston. So we're going to give this a shot. Here we go. Find a ratchet here, and I got this thing slid down the first hole that I want to do, and I've got a couple of threads kind of biting in the bottom, so we'll see what happens here. A short extension too. I had one here. I want to be able to raise this up high enough so that I can get a good straight ratchet on this, so that it doesn't want to walk sideways. This shaft is pretty close to the size of the spark plug well, so that will help in some aspects. We'll keep going with this and see how it works. I'm going to take a measurement here and see how far down I can go with this in regards to how deep my thread replacement is. These inserts I know are on the shorter side of the recommendation, but I think that they'll work just fine in respect that here's one of the plugs. By the time it's seated, it'll sit just about like that. So you might have a thread sticking out beyond it. Is that enough to mess it up? Yeah, maybe. But on that respect, I'll take my chances on that one. So that's what we're going to use anyway. So I want to be able to hold constant pressure in on it to be able to get the threads to bite. Doing it this way, I mean, this is something that you could do on the side of the road if you had to. I can hear it shaving the threads out of it now, so. All right, we'll bring you back if something gets interesting. All right, so I've disconnected the injectors from these two cylinders that I need to have helicoiled. I need to crank this one over and blow what I've got in this one out. Now, I was able to suck a pretty good majority of it out using a piece of hose with a wire inside of it to keep it stiff into the cylinder well there, spark plug well. That worked pretty well. I actually got quite a bit out of it. This is all of what's left there. That's what come out of it, so I would say that's a vast majority of it. But we're gonna start it now for a few seconds and let the rest of the crap blow out of it. Move some stuff here so it doesn't fall into anywhere as it shouldn't. And we'll give her a go. All right, well, that's looking pretty clear in there now. I don't know if we can get in there to see it. I don't have a bore scope or anything. So that cylinder right there, this one we just did. I don't see anything left in there sitting on top of the piston, so I think we'll call that one good and put the insert in it and get it seated so that we can make that cylinder run again to blow the other one out. So let's see how this next step goes. All right, we've got the seat tool here. Slide that down the well and it finds its own spot there in the insert. We'll pull this dipstick out of here so that we don't get the end of that smashed off. We'll see if we can seat that down in there. Let's see if we can do this without smashing the end of our tranny dipstick tube. Take a peek at it and see what it looks like. You should physically be able to see it flare. Oh yeah, that one's looking pretty good. That one's all set. It's flared right out nicely against the walls there, so that one's all done. Now we'll do the other one. I'll bring you back if there's anything else. That exciting happens, but that's more or less how it goes. And that worked pretty well for me to do it with the dry tap method, so we'll see if we can have the same kind of luck on that next cylinder. I'll get to it and we'll see how it runs tomorrow. Should let that Loctite cure for at least a good 24 hours, it says, for full cure. So I don't want to have to do this again. So we'll do what it says to do and hope for the best. I'll let you know how it goes. All right, got that other one in. Gonna let that Loctite harden up, cure till about this time tomorrow, and then we'll throw some spark plugs in it and we'll be done with it. Well, got a bunch of other stuff to do on this thing yet, but running out of time to get things done today. I'm gonna spend a little time with the family and go play with the kids. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hope to see you next time, and well, hopefully this old vehicle will last us a while.